In this video, we're going to see how we can use if statements in MATLAB. Let's check that out. Alright, well, in MATLAB, I'm going to clear this first. In MATLAB, we have Boolean expressions and Boolean variables. However, just like we did in Python. However, in MATLAB, they're called logicals. Same thing, they're either true or false. And we can use the same sort of comparison operators that we did in Python. Like if A was 1 and B was 2, we can ask, is A equal to B? And we get a logical type 0, right? Because A is not equal to B. You should know, though, that the not equals, or in general, not is the tilde. Tilde is next to 1 on your keyboard. Not equals to B. So is A not equals to B? Logical true. We can, and then everything else is straightforward. A is less than or equal to B, right? We could ask that. Logical 1, because 1 is less than or equal to 2, and so on. So all of that is pretty straightforward. We can use and or. In MATLAB, and is the double ampersand, like that. And or is, I don't know the name of the character, but it's that vertical bar. It's above enter on my keyboard, so it's a double vertical bar for or. So for example, if A was, I'm just going to move this up a little bit. If A is 1 and B is 2 and maybe C is 3, then we can say something like maybe A greater than B, or C less than or equal to, how about C greater than or equal to B, like this. And so we hit enter, and that evaluates to true. Even though A is not larger than B, C is greater than or equal to B, and so this is true over here, and false or true is true. So all of that works, and you want to be careful if that your variables are only storing one number when you do this, because in MATLAB usually we have arrays that have lots of data, and it's kind of ambiguous when you say A greater than B. Like if A has lots of numbers and B has just as many numbers, what does it really mean for A to be larger than B in that case? What MATLAB will do is it'll return a vector of ones and zeros, or an array of ones and zeros each time for each element. So it'll do an element-wise comparison between A and B in that case. Okay, so anyway, everything else is straightforward, and now knowing that we have these Boolean or these logical variables or logical expressions, we can begin to understand the if statement. And I'm going to just write a simple program. I'm going to overwrite this program, my first MATLAB program. I'm just going to delete all this and just give a comment, test the if statement. Okay. And I'm also going to clear all the variables right now. Clear CLC. All right. I'm going to start by just kind of just asking what is your favorite number. So I'm going to say number equals, the input function works just like you'd expect. What is your favorite number? Okay. And here we go. What is your favorite number? And then I'm going to say something like this. If number equals 0, enter. So you'll see I'm starting with an if, then I have a logical expression, right, a Boolean expression. I do not put a colon there like I would in Python, and then I will indent. Indenting is good practice, right? As we talked about before with functions. However, it's not required in MATLAB. But I am going to indent anyway. If number is equal to 0, I'm going to fprintf, hey, that's my, oops, I need to escape, or I'll just put, that is my favorite number 2. Okay. So I'm going to print that in that case. And then I'm going to say else right? And you see how else lights up in blue, and then I'm going to align else with if, and then I'm going to say something like my favorite number is 0, and end. So MATLAB requires an end for the if statement, and the reason being is that because the indentation is not required, how else are we going to tell MATLAB that we're ending the if statement? And remember, in Python, it's just whenever you stop the indentation. However, in MATLAB, since the indentation is not required, the end is required. So that's kind of the trade-off. So we need an end there. Notice the if, else, and end are all aligned with one another. And I think we're good to go. So I'm going to save that, Control S, and then I'm going to run it. What is your favorite number? I'll try 10. And it says my favorite number is 0. Perhaps I should have put a new line character there. All right, and we'll run it again. We'll try it again. What is your favorite number? And I'll put 0. And it says, hey, that is my favorite number too. So it works like you would expect. Now we can also use if-else statements. So let me demonstrate that to you. In this case, let me change my number or my program a little bit. We'll say else if. So else if is a keyword. It's not elif like in Python. It's else if. And then I'm going to say else if, and then I'm going to give it another Boolean expression like number is greater than 0. Then I'm going to print if number is greater than 0. I'll say something like, did you consider negative numbers? So I don't know, something like that. And then maybe else we'll print that's a good number, or that is a good number. Okay, and so we'll just do something like that, and \n for new line. All right, so let's try this. I'll Control S, save it, click Run. What's your favorite number? How about -3? And then it says that is a good number. So in this case, number was -3. It does not equal 0, so this is false. It is not greater than 0, so this is false. So it defaults to the else statement, the else clause. So it prints that is a good number. Let me run it again. And I will put 10 this time, and it said, did you consider negative numbers? In this case, line 3 is false because number is not equal to 0, but line 5 is true. Number, which is 10, is greater than 0, so it prints, did you consider negative numbers? Yes. And let me just try 0 again. So I will run this again, 0, and it says, yeah, hey, that's my favorite number too. So that gives you a good idea of how we can use if statements, if else, and about the Boolean or the logical values and the logical expressions. Thank you.